because we had gone through the gate and handed our luggage in, there was nobody from the airline who we could ask.
Yeah, she hated it. So we came back a night early.
At one point, it got to a point where there were police walking past with guns. I stopped them and said, can you give us some advice? Because we're stuck here and there's nobody to ask. No one we know.
Ladies and gents, and anyone in between.
Can we say that?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello.
Welcome back to 24/7. I'm Mark.
I'm Liam.
And today's episode is sponsored by no one.
We wish. We wish.
No one yet.
Sponsor us.
But it's coming. This is just a quickie, really, on the couch with Liam.
Not that type of video.
We're just checking in. Do you know, our thing was that we'd upload every other Sunday, and so far so good. We've done that. If you have been watching, Liam was on his own last upload 2
weeks ago. By the time they see this,
just
me in a field.
Forget what I was doing. I can't. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there anyway in the field with Liam, which would have been weird. But
in the field.
Okay. But I'm here now, and that's all that matters. We're back in the studio. So Liam touched on Colour Clash last week or last upload. I want to touch on the reggae festival that was here in Newport City, over at Tredegar House, put on by the beautiful people at Urban Circle. Now, I don't know, can we chuck some photographs up? I took some banging photos. Let's put them up whilst I'm talking. I just want to take a moment and just applaud Urban Circle for the fantastic work that they do and the amazing festival that they put on. I think full time they have like 12, I could be wrong, I could be making this up, but about like 10, 11, 12 members of staff or guys volunteering there. And this festival, and you were there too, Lee, actually, DJ.
I was.
The fest is one of the most, probably the most organised festival that I've ever probably been to.
It was very authentic.
Yeah.
Like if that took place in Jamaica, I feel like it would have been exactly the same as it was, even though it was in Newport. But the day I was there, it was very sunny as well, so that definitely helped.
Yeah.
But you said something to me on the day, isn't it? One of, or the only, like Jamaica endorse it in something?
So outside of Jamaica, I hope I'm getting this right. Outside of, so it's the only reggae festival that is actually endorsed by Jamaica. Or the Jamaican High Commission, or something like that. I might not be exact. So Reggae Land, as an example, I don't think is endorsed by them. It's just a reggae festival. Like anyone can put a reggae festival on, if you've got the budget and the contacts. And that's another thing with Urban Circle, man. Like, they're set up as a charity organisation, and I don't know the ins and outs of like where, you know, how they fund, but they got some like genius people working there that are pulling strings and making stuff happen. But I just wanted to give them a shout out anyway, because I don't think they're talked about enough.
No, it was a very big event. The lineup was crazy, especially for, like we said, in Newport.
I had someone in here, so I was photographing, and the day of the festival, I was in here just getting my batteries and the cameras and cards ready, and somebody came into the studio, the shop, that is quite high up, like in, I don't know, the council, let's say.
Newport Council.
Quite high up in the chain of what goes on in and around Newport. And they said, where are you off? I said, I'm off to a reggae festival. And he said, oh, there's a reggae festival, is there? And I said, yeah, like they're expecting like 9,000 people over 3 days. And he said, oh, where's that then? This is someone that should know like the ins and outs of Newport.
So if he didn't like it, could he have potentially pulled the plug on it, like the morning of the event? And he's like, that's not happening in my town.
I don't think he has that power, but this is
lucky.
An individual that should know that there's a massive festival happening
think you should say
and that Tredegar house. I'm not going to say stuff like that, but I'm not here to cause any trouble. But Mr. No, I'm only joking.
Do better.
But yeah, that's me, anyways, man. So the reggae festival was amazing. Again, hats off or doffed. Is that doff?
Yeah, we'll go with it.
A doff to Urban Circle. Well done. And this guy to my left has a story. It's funny, but not funny, but it is funny.
It's funny now. At the time, it wasn't so funny.
Just give the viewers a quick rundown on your last week.
So, yeah, the last couple of weeks for me after the festival that Mark spoke about, we went on a family holiday to Spain. Lucian's first holiday since he's only, well, at the time of seeing this, probably like 8 or 9 months old, depending on how long this takes to edit. So his first little holiday away, which was good. We had 11 days in Spain. Then on the last day, I'll skip all the holiday talk for now because that's not really where the story gets good. So on the last day, we got picked up 7 p.m. to go to the airport. We get to the airport like 8 p.m. They wouldn't let us check in.
So this is already late anyway for like a baby, isn't it?
Yeah, this was probably
like it's already got
like
past
8:30,
Lucian's bedtime, It's 8 o'clock and you've got a flight to catch.
He's in his pram because we got
stress levels are high. Yeah,
we got a hand luggage pram that goes in the top of the plane. Yeah, he's in that at the moment. We're trying to check into the gate. They're like, no, you need to wait. Oh, there were also, I should probably say this, thunderstorms on the island. So a couple of planes were being delayed, cancelled, blah blah blah. But when we got there was no delay or no cancel on the board. So we got to check in. They're like, you can't check in yet. Not because we're early, because they don't know if the flight's going ahead. So they were like waiting in that little pen over there. They made like a pen out of gates.
Wait in the cage.
So we go over there and wait, and then they come over and they're like, oh yeah, guys, the flight's cancelled. So we're like, okay, so what do we do now? And they were like, go down there to gate
so not delayed.
65. No, it's cancelled.
Just completely, it's called off.
Yeah.
What's the time now?
Well, he was due to leave, I think, about 10:30 that night.
Right, okay, yeah.
Maybe 11.
Yeah.
So it's before that. But we get told it's not going ahead, so we go to this gate. Everyone's waiting there from all these cancelled flights, and there's just one person from EasyJet. I'm going to say the airline name because they weren't helpful. So EasyJet, you screwed us.
Sponsor us.
If we want to get anywhere. So we go to this gate anyway. There's one person with a clipboard trying to go around all these people, but people are like swarming him. So eventually we get told the flight's not going ahead. There's other airlines that might be flying. You can try and book on with them. But what we would do is either book a hotel or book another flight, keep your receipts and be reimbursed after. So we start looking and we hear there's a RyanAir flight going the next morning at 10 a.m. So we run to a RyanAir gate because we haven't checked in or anything. So we're still in the main lobby of the airport. We go to this gate, try check in. We're waiting there for ages because there's obviously people kicking off and fighting. And while we were in the queue, there was someone practically punching the window trying to shout at the staff. And the staff, they must be so used to it because instead of like arguing, they just put a thing up saying closed. So while he's arguing through this glass window, they're just not serving anyone. So then that guy looks like a dick for holding up the queue. Eventually we get to the front and we have issues with the app and then we can't book it. And then the person who serves us is like, I can see there's availability, but I can't book it for you. So that's no help. So we're just stood at the window waiting. Eventually they book us tickets. I'm just cutting out a lot of this story just to get to the end. They book us tickets to the next day. It's probably like midnight now. So we're like, well, there's nowhere to stay because I went on booking.com. All the villas and stuff around hotels are like 4,400 euros for one night. It's already midnight, so we're not even getting like the full 24 hours out of our stay. So we're like, right, we'll have to just stay in the airport. Bearing in mind, we've got a newborn baby with us and 2 children under 7 years old, or 7 and under.
Stress.
So we're all in the airport.
Stress.
Like, well, we have to stay here. We can't go anywhere.
I bet the baby's asleep at this point, nice and comfy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he was at this point. Yeah,
nice
anyway.
and comfy in the pram.
So we're like, right, well, we're staying here. So I go to WH Smith's in the airport after going to Tui, who we booked with. And I was like, look, we got a baby. He has food allergies with his milk. We can't just pop out and buy milk. So we need some sort of plan. They were like, that's fine. We've got a kettle and a microwave.
Amazing. I
was like, okay, well, we'll stay here for 2 weeks. In the end, we decided, obviously, we're staying in the airport. So we went to the arrivals gate because they told us it was quieter and cooler because the doors are opening and you get an air in. So we eventually made a little bed with some rows of chairs. Each one had an individual armrest, so you couldn't lie down across it all. We had to put chairs in front of chairs and put our feet on one, our bum on the other. Probably about 1-ish, the kids did get some sleep. But as adults, you just can't really sleep in that situation. I think between us, we probably had about 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're scared.
Where you're thinking like, well, I'll wake up and either the kids will be gone or my luggage will be gone. We still have all our suitcases. So we made a little fort. In the end, the kids just couldn't sleep on the chairs. So we put clothes out of our suitcases on the floor to make a bed. It's obviously like hard airport floor, so it was shit anyway.
Yeah.
But we made a bed. Anyway, that got us through until the morning.
So until what time?
Probably about 6 a.m.
Oh my God.
We thought, we'll wake up now, we can check in 4 hours.
So it's been there almost 24 hours. 12 hours at that point. Yeah, sorry.
So we go up to the gate.
That's still crazy though.
4 hours before whatever the flight time is, they let us check in. So that was the first positive. We're like, right, we've got further than we got yesterday.
Yeah.
Planes on the board were all still delayed and cancelled. So in the back of our minds, we were still like, But the night before, they told us between 6 and 12 midday, there was a window where there was meant to be no storms.
Lovely.
So that was a good time. So anyway, we get in, we check in. Once we get through the gates where we didn't get the day before, we realised how big the airport was. Like, you could literally walk for miles. There were like 4 different departure zones with loads of shops, loads of restaurants. So it was better already than what we saw the day before, because we just saw some old WH Smiths and stuff. So then it gets time to start checking the board. I think we were due to take off at 10, so from 9ish it said check the boards for your gates.
So 10 a.m.
Yeah. At 9ish it said delayed.
Oh man.
So I think at first it was like an hour, and then after that hour it was another hour, and then it kept going and going and going, probably until about 1ish. Before this point, we did find a McDonald's that sold spicy chicken nuggets and McRibs. So that was good, because I haven't had either of those in ages. So that was a nice little break. But still, at this point, all you want to do is get home.
Of course.
I think it got to about, I want to say 1 or 2 p.m. And we were waiting for the next board update. And then it said delayed, next board update, 9 p.m.
Oh my God.
So it did a massive jump. Where all around, all the other flights were still being cancelled and stuff. We're still sat in this airport departure lounge, whatever you call it, just trying to do something, basically. We were going to coffee shops asking for water to fill babies' bottles, clean bottles, and then eventually they started saying no.
Oh, really?
I was like, it's hot water.
Yeah.
But we literally had to fight for it in some places. They just didn't care.
Wow. No, they don't
there was
care.
no one, because we had gone through the gate and handed our luggage in, there was nobody from the airline who we could ask. Whereas before you give your luggage in, they've got like gates, they've got booths that you can go and speak to people. Even on the arrivals, they have people waiting for the arrivals, but when you're departing, it's like they just do not care. At one point, it got to a point where there were police walking past with guns. I stopped them and said, can you give us some advice, because we're stuck here and there's nobody to ask, no one we know. And even them, to be fair, they weren't great. They were like, well, if you run out of milk, you'll have to check him into a hospital and just get some that way.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the hell? Anyway, fast forward in a little bit, there's lots of walking around going on, lots of food shopping, because there were fast food places, so we were staying fed. We tried to play a little Uno.
I was going to say, how did the kids...
They had their tablets, to be fair.
Yeah.
We did sit by
tablets saved. The one time we just go on that forever.
Yeah, it wasn't a case of looking where there were free spaces. It was looking for spaces with plug sockets. So we could stay charged.
Yeah.
We had Uno. We had like tablets that they could watch stuff on. It's good. So anyway, we get to that, and then all through the day, I'm checking like flight tracker, flight radar, all that. Keeping an eye on this flight. I've got the flight number, and at 4 o'clock, our flight went to Alicante. Picked people up and then came back. So there's no problems with the plane. We know the plane's flying. It's taking off.
And it can take off. Yeah.
And then like we were speaking to people who were on our flight. So amongst them all, they were like, "Oh, I've been checking in on Bristol Airport, and they've got our flight due to come in at 1 a.m."
Oh my God.
So there were little signs that were like little glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
But we still didn't know, and because of the night before, everyone on our flight today were due to fly today. They weren't before, so we had an insight of to how bad it could be. And we, in our heads, we're like, well, we can't do another day in the airport. Like, we can't stay here for 48 hours. So anyway, fast forwarding again, it got to 9 p.m. and the board updated saying, go to gate 22. So there's us, like, oh, we're going home. So we run through, we grab all our stuff, we go through, like, the passport bit, which is also in the gate. And then we get to gate 22, and the screen says Manchester.
Oh my God.
Bearing in mind we're flying to Bristol.
Yeah.
Why does it say Manchester? So anyway, we were due to leave. I think this was probably about 11 p.m. now, but I've told this story so many times.
Like 27 hours in or something like that?
Something ridiculous, Yeah, well, 11 p.m. the night before. So dead on 24 hours from the original one. Match. Anyway,
but you've been there. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
when you're in the airport, we felt like Tom Cruise on the
It
film.
felt like for days.
We were
Yeah.
and there's just no one to help. That was the worst thing. If it was like a phone line, we went on a web chat and there were like 400 people waiting, so your battery's going to be dead before you get spoken to.
Yeah.
It was just not good. And I think just being alone, like isolated, it's almost as if nobody cared because we were just there.
Yeah.
But obviously with the baby and stuff, if it was just the two of us, we would have entertained ourselves. But because we had the family there, the kids and the baby, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Eventually, anyway, we go up to the gate and they're like, no, this is going to Manchester. It must be an error. Keep an eye on the main boards. So we go back and sit down and wait, and there's like a Starbucks, so we get a coffee. And then it updates again. It's been delayed again, I think, till like midnight. And then I check on Flight Radar and it says like taking off at 1 something. It's just always being pushed back and back. And I'm like, well, they can't cancel it because they've been pushing back since 10 a.m. this morning. If they were going to cancel it, hopefully they would have just done it sooner and we could just make alternative arrangements. Eventually, we go to like 4 different gates in the airport because the board keeps updating saying go to gate 14, go to gate 16. We're literally just walking around looking for our flight. And by this point, we're with everyone else on the plane. So we're literally like a conga line, just going from gate to gate, trying to find out.
Oh, my God.
Eventually, at like 1:30, they let us on the plane.
Wow.
Also, some people had meal tickets from the airline. We just got emails saying the flight's delayed and nothing. Airline didn't give us anything. I don't know.
Physical tickets?
They got emailed them. So they could go to like vendors in the airport, show them this ticket, and they got free food.
I was going to say, at the end of a holiday, some people will have no money.
Yeah.
They don't have savings. They don't have any money. They just live payday to payday. And they would have splashed on their holiday and had to wait there for 24 hours or longer with no money.
Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't mention the price, but the tickets that we had to book in the end, Adele ended up booking them, but they were close to 4 figures. It was like a couple of pounds at 4 figures.
Yeah.
And that's for a flight that we didn't need to book originally.
Not many people are going to have that, are they, to spend after a holiday?
It was crazy. So then we're still waiting now. We get to the boarding gate thingy and they check like the boarding passes and stuff, and they let us on the plane. There was a little bit of stress then because we were with 2 children, as I said, 7 and 4 years old, and they gave us 4 separate seats.
Oh my God.
So we were all just scattered in the end. We ended up swapping with people next to us so they could be like one child, one adult.
So much stress.
Because again, it's just stuff you don't need, especially at that time. And then we get on the flight and there's like, we're all on the plane, blah, 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 but there's no pilot.
Oh my God.
And it's like, we plan to take off at 2 a.m.
I would have had the YouTube tutorial at this point and just flown the plane myself.
Literally thinking of my flight.
This is a YouTube
flight
tutorial.
simulator experience.
Yeah.
Like, how can you let people on the plane when you don't have a pilot?
I don't know.
This second flight as well was with RyanAir.
They're just happy
so they're on my hit list.
move you forward every
Well, that's the thing. We're out of the airport, so
until you get to the end and then there's no pilot.
it must have been like out of sight, out of mind. I probably got this story a little bit wrong. If you spoke to Adele, she'd probably tell you different things where I sort of skip bits or whatever. And it's hard to portray the stress that you're feeling, but it's made us like,
can't imagine
we're not going away next year. It's made us
Cancel
not
every
on that holiday.
Yeah.
Eventually, anyway, I think I texted you, didn't I? Because you were messaging me, and I was like, "Oh, we're taking off." So that was about just after 2 a.m., I think.
Wow.
And then we got back to Bristol, and
so about 30 hours later, over 30 hours.
It seemed like 3 weeks.
That's insane.
And then with everything we had to buy, like on the first night, I went to WH Smith and I had to buy some neck cushions to make the stay as enjoyable as possible.
Yeah, if that's
they
possible,
were 2 for €40.
Oh my God.
And then you go to like TK Maxx over here, you can buy one for like $4.99.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Pennies.
Then we needed all the food.
The airports have got you. They got you by the balls, man.
And if you think they got you when you're flying out at a normal time, imagine being stuck there.
Yeah.
Like you have to pay it. There's no way around.
You're desperate. You have to do it. Yeah.
And then obviously for the kids, like from our perspective, it was like they were playing up, but they weren't. They were just bored. You can't really like. I was.
No, it's
so
not.
If I was,
yeah. Like they would. I bet they were no trouble, but it's just like, give me a break, man. No, like I know. Yeah. I know.
And like,
I know.
To be fair, Dal must have the patience of a saint because I don't know how she coped with all of us.
Nah, I don't know. Our mums are different.
Yeah.
Mumsies are different to us.
Especially with babies crying.
I'm telling you.
But that's a hats off moment. So hats off to her for coping and surviving and stuff. But yeah, eventually we got home. We were meant to get back on the Wednesday. We got back on the Friday at some point.
That's crazy.
Luckily, the Friday was booked off work anyway. Luckily, though, it was all at the end of a holiday because the holiday was amazing all the way through it.
Oh, imagine that's going out. Because the thing is, if that's going out as well, you're losing 2 days of your holiday.
Yeah.
Extend your holiday.
No, it's true. Well, we had to extend it. We didn't want to do it.
Well, yeah. You had no choice.
Also, on the last day leading up to it, we had to be out of our room, I think, by 11 originally. We paid extra to have it until 2, knowing we were being picked up at 7. So all that time, you're just thinking, right, the room's done now. We just want to get home, blah, blah, blah. We went for food and stuff, and then we got picked up. So all that day, we're thinking, just can't wait to be in our own bed, you know?
Yeah, guess like that.
We got back a bit, eventually.
Not similar, but a little bit similar, but not similar.
Similar but not similar.
Yeah.
Same but different.
I also went away, but in this country.
Yeah.
But glamping.
Glamorous camping.
Exactly. I won't tell the story now. There's not much to tell, but it was a funny experience because it was Claudia's, my wife's I don't know how old she is, 37? 37?
I'm not going to guess.
It was her very, she's 37. It was her birthday while we were away, actually. Like last week.
You're going to get a big balloon with a 3 and a 7?
It was her very, very first time in 37 years stayed in a tent, ever. She's never, ever camped. So I thought, right, we know in easily, like, and comfortably in glamping.
So is that still in a tent, glamping?
Yeah, but it's like one of those big, I think it's called a bell tent. It's one of those big, you can stand up in there. In there was a double bed and a single bed. Like a full-on fixed wooden double bed.
What, all in one, like, open space? Or
Yeah, open.
apartment?
No, big open space.
I'm picturing, like, a wigwam, you know?
Yeah, it is a bit, it was a bit like that, yeah, but it's just massive.
Have you got pictures of it where we can...
Yeah. I have, yeah. But they don't look that big in it, because it's sunk into the ground, it don't look that big, but we'll check it up anyway. But, yeah, she hated it. So we came back a night early.
What did she hate?
Just...
The nature side of it?
there's spiders. I'm like, yeah, but there's spiders in Newport.
Yeah.
She thinks there's no spiders in Newport. Do you know what I mean? Like, she thought the spiders in Devon were deadlier than the spiders in Newport. It was her first experience.
Send a camp into Australia.
Yeah, I know.
The spiders are a problem.
But that's it. But that's a story for another time anyway, because this was meant to have been short and sweet. And it is that. But
before we end, we do need to say that we are getting back to the guest interviews.
Exactly.
We've got lots of people lined up, waiting in the wings.
Yeah. So every other Sunday is what we're sticking to. This was just a check-in and just to keep the YouTube active and try and stay on board with the algorithm. We've used you. If you've watched this, we've used you.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. But anyways,
we've used you for a quickie on the couch.
Wow, we didn't turn the...
But yeah, we are getting back to it. There's going to be guest interviews they are lined up. They're going to be coming soon. Basically, we're just going to get back to how we were. When did we first upload? Like a month ago?
A month ago, maybe. But that's it. So just a quick check-in. The next time you see us, we will be with a guest, and it's back to the funsies and the interviews.
But we will also still be doing these story time kind of videos, because I think they are quite fun.
Yeah, if something happens, we'll tell it.
But we won't use you to fill gaps anymore. We'll just use these videos to tell you stories.
Exactly.
I think that works for everybody. So thank you for watching today.
Until next time.
Adios, amigo.